What's up, boys? It's a nostalgic gaming channel back at it again with some nostalgic gaming content. Continue our long running series of Age of Mythology, our campaign playthrough. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll move on with mission number 16, Good Advice. You guys are going to see this is a trippy one. This is a good one.
We are safe here for now. We will plan in the morning.
You have done well. Now I must prepare you for the rest of your journey. Zeus is all-powerful now, but it was not always so. Ages ago, the Titans ruled the universe under Kronos, and humanity suffered under their harsh rule.
Castor. Follow me,
So in
Father.
this mission, we're going to follow Arkantos' dream, right? And this is kind of be his vision of what would happen if he was on the other side of history and if the Titans had been in control and had taken power.
You are not as other men, Father. You are favored by the gods. Get the relic to the temple.
So we're going to be forced to fight a couple other, strong myth units, a bunch of Cyclopses here. We're going to be assisted by Zeus with these lightning statues, right? And to my knowledge, this may be the only mission where you get these lightning statues, but man, they are powerful. And I actually had to restart once because I actually died at this portion, even though you got the lightning statues and the healing. For some reason, they didn't kick off, and I ended up dying, and it said mission over, restart. I didn't even know that was possible in this portion of it. And the problem is, I didn't get far enough into the trigger, and I ended up not summoning my allies, so I ended up getting absolutely demolished by the Nemean lions here. I actually even kited them all the way back to the lightning statues, and I tried healing, and I still got wrecked. Just, I guess they must be stronger than normal. But now that I made it through, now that I got my allies, we easily demolish all these lions, right? We've got all our hero friends, all the people helping us on our journey. And once we defeat them, obviously we're being watched over by Zeus, so we continue this mission.
Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades did battle with the Titans in a great war. Kronos and the Titans were imprisoned in Tartarus, the deepest part of the underworld. Zeus came to rule over all the heavens. Poseidon envies his brother's domain and wishes it for himself. Kronos knows this and tempts Poseidon with promises of power if he is released.
Poseidon? No.
Yes, there are several places where one can enter Tartarus, but Zeus sealed them all with adamantine doors. These can only be opened by a mortal's hands, Gargarensis.
The gate. That's what we saw when we entered Erebus in Greece.
Yes, Gargarensis believes that if he helps the Titans return, Poseidon and Kronos will make him immortal as a reward.
So now we're back in.
Landslide to escape the underworld.
Now we're back in Erebus, right? We're back in the underworld, but we're given a massive army here. Not that we're gonna need them all. This portion's super simple. So we'll take our shades, right? And we're gonna wreck these people with our shades. Instant kill.
That looked like Theris. It has been a long time since you sent him to the underworld, Arkantos. Fighting old battles again?
Fighting old battles again. If I remember correctly, that's the very first opening of the mission too. You're fighting that Theris, which is an Anubite, right? Which is kind of weird. Why is he fighting an Egyptian Anubite, right? And Athena tells him, "Are you fighting old battles again, Arkantos?" So on this one we get Castor, who doesn't count as a hero, even though he has a heroic glow. But later we try and get him to pick up an item and it doesn't work. Right, because he's not technically a hero unit. But thank goodness we have priests, we have a bunch of units, we have a bunch of spearmen. So we're able to, and catapults most importantly. So we're able to take down this rock slide very easily. The only thing that we have to keep in mind is there's probably going to be reinforcements that come up on our rear. So we don't want to leave our catapults in the danger zone, right? And when they're this close, they're all kind of janked up together and they're all grouped up. Like, they're not going to be able to be as efficient as necessary, and they're not going to be able to fire. We'll put our spearmen in the back, right? We'll keep our priest to assist them in case any myth units come. But our main goal right now, doesn't matter if your entire army dies, as long as you destroy that landslide and you get Arkantos in, that's our main goal. Obviously, we don't want our troops to just get wrecked, right? And supported by Zeus here, we're able to protect them with the priests. Oh, even the lightning strikes the rocks. And in real life, I don't think that would do a lot of damage to the rocks, right? Lightning, I think lightning. Oh, he killed one of our guys. You could tell he got his double head, the Hydra. I don't think lightning would actually do any real damage to rocks. Earthquake would probably be a better god power. But, you know, lightning is kind of Zeus's thing. And Poseidon's become jealous of his brother's, you know, power and domain over the heavens, right? He doesn't want Hades' domain. He wants Zeus's. So he's going to team up with
Your enemy lies
the Titans.
across the sea, Father. Your fleet awaits.
So here's where we become the bad guy, right? As Billie Eilish would say, we're bad guys. We got Kamos, we got Gargarensis, and on this map, there's basically as many relics as you want. I think every single relic in the game may be on this map, right? They're hidden throughout. I won't even say hidden. Most of them are pretty in plain sight. So you're able to go through and pick them all up and add them to your temples, right? And we're given 3 heroes, Kamos, Gargarensis, and Arkantos on this one, right? Again, Castor doesn't count as a hero. I did try this mission before, and I ended up failing pretty epically because my entire my little transport ship with all my villagers got killed, right? And a bunch of my units got killed because I didn't consolidate them, and they got spanked by some kind of a water myth unit. So this time I'm going to consolidate all my guys into as few transport ships as possible. That way I don't have the same problem as last time where it dies and now I'm so far behind. We're going to let our regular pirate ships scout first for the enemy. As you can see, we're coming across some enemy ships. But we're given some Krakens, right? Kraken's extremely strong. They're able to totally just sink enemy ships, right? By grabbing them with their tentacles. And just like the President, we're going to have a convoy with decoys, and we're moving right on through. I honestly don't know what would happen if one of your heroes died in the sea, if you'd be able to even revive them. But we're able to this time make it through, drop all our troops, and now we're sitting in a good spot, right? Because we actually have villagers and troops. So the whole point of this mission is to destroy an enemy wonder, right? We're given a couple lightning statues, and we're given the Hades god power of sentinels. The sentinels spawn around your command center, and they act as defenses, right? They shoot arrows. They're basically like a troop that's solely there to defend your base. Now, I don't know if it has armor like a troop or if it has armor like a building. I just know they fight and they're very effective. So as you could see, basically every portion of this map has some kind of relics around it, right?
Destroy those siege weapons!
And you can collect them all, but you're going to have to build a ton of temples to capture all of it. Yeah, see, my first sentinel died, and it made the dying sound of a unit. But if you want to capture all of those relics, you're going to have to build multiple temples, right? Just because there's so many of them. And on this one, the enemy has very strong fortifications in their base. They have lightning towers themselves. They have multiple armies. They have multiple heroes. Basically, they're us most of the time. And although when you click on all the heroes and it clicks all the heroes, Caster gets chosen. He's not considered a hero. He cannot grab relics. Trust me, I tried. So we're going to load up our temple with as many relics as we can. And I believe 5 is the max you can put in one. For some reason, I thought I was able to put 6 in one time. But you're going to have to build a lot of temples. But on this mission particularly, you're given a very small area to work with, right? You don't have a ton of area to build spaces. There's another free town or like area to build a command center right there, or town center. But other than that, you got to be very careful with what you build because there's not a lot of space. You're not going to be spamming out like unit production centers, armories, like merchants. Like there's not a lot of room. So you got to be very economical with what you're doing. I opt to go for the temples just because I want to throw as many relics as possible into my temples and boost them up. That way I can get all the power-ups. And one of my civilians over there, I wasn't paying attention, got killed by a freaking bear. For some reason, Mother Nature doesn't really like to attack your troops, but boy, do they like to go after your villagers. Like, they see that your villagers are kind of weak, and they just target them. Even if they're not doing anything to bother them. Right, and because we're going so heavy into food on this one, is you could tell I have a ton of food, right? We're going to build a bunch of cyclopses. Cyclopi. That way we can have a nice, beefy frontline army. So we got the Golden Lions. We want the Pegasus to go and scout around so we can kind of see what's going on in the whole map. And this is where I kind of figured out that I'm pretty sure every single relic in the game is spread around through the map. But we're not going to grab them all. That would just take way too long. I like to keep these videos about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, right? That way you guys have a nice little digestible viewing experience. And you can kind of put it on in the background, listen, right? I do that all the time with YouTube videos. I put it on in the background, I get background noise, I close my eyes, I nap, I enjoy it. I try and keep the volume pretty level. That way you don't have any unexpected things, because there's nothing worse than trying to nap and listening to a video, and the next thing you know, there's something very loud. Oh, and we got the relic that doesn't do anything here again, right? I don't know what it does. I don't know if someone forgot to type in a tool text or what. But, hey, I appreciate you guys watching. These are always my most popular videos, so I'm going to keep making sure. If I take a break on the other videos for a week, I'm going to make sure I keep cranking out my RTS Sundays, because I appreciate you guys watching it, and I want to make sure I put in the effort for you guys, so thank you for that. But yeah, like I said, I like to keep them about 30 to 45 just so that you guys have a nice little digestible chunk. You can get a little bit, but you're always wanting a little bit more of the NGC. We're going to boost up our Cyclopsi. And there's one thing that I made a mistake here is I wanted to explore that side of the map so bad. I kept sending Pegasuses over and over and over. But the towers are put in such a spaced out area that they end up just demolishing your Pegasuses. Pegasi, right? So it's a hard time here to get the vision that I wanted to get, as well as, build all the buildings that I want. Get in there, Golden Lion. I wonder why you're not able to harvest the Golden Lion, right? Like, you can harvest regular lions, I believe, for food. So that's a pro gamer move right there called the Goat Scout. That's how you know when there's an enemy nearby, is the goat gets taken over. So, like I told you guys, I had to redo this mission because I messed up the first time. And then I had to redo it again because I died the second time. So, the first time I was like, let me go scout, right? And I rushed the enemy base. Unbeknownst to me, they had a bunch of lightning towers, right? And that's not something you see very often, because to my memory, I think this may be the only mission where you're given those, and when you come up against those. So the lightning towers absolutely demolished my full rank army, right? Because I didn't have enough siege weapons. I made a bunch of Cyclops Eye, and I was like, I'm going to get in there. I'm just going to crush them. And they absolutely demolished my army. It's like the Son of Osiris power-up, where it has the chain lightning effect, and it just crushes through everybody, especially your myth units for some reason. So I sent all my guys in, they get demolished, I get counterattacked, I lose a bunch of resources, temples, and whatnot. So I was like, all right, let me just restart, right? I don't want you guys to. I don't care if you guys see me fail a little bit, but I wouldn't want you guys to waste the whole video with me restarting. But like I do fail a couple times. So I'm not the biggest fan of the the Chimeras as a myth unit, even though they're like one of the final ones. Not a major fan of it, so I don't really build them. If you're gonna spend, if you're gonna want a good myth unit, I'm not building Chimeras. They're probably the weakest of the final tier myth units in the Greeks, in my opinion. Medusas are goated. Obviously, you guys know my stance on Golden Colossi. Those are my favorite myth unit, I think. Like, I think they're the strongest of all. But Chimeras, not that great. They're really good against groups of units. But other than that, they struggle. So we're going to give our archers the power-ups we need. With that beefy front line of Cyclopses that we have, Cyclops Eye, we're going to back them up with a bunch of archers and siege weapons. And because I upgraded the Elder Cyclops power, right, they're very, very strong. So we just need some backline to assist our front line. As you can see, I'm stacking up all those relics. So I typically like to do one base for upgrades, one base for units. That way I'm always pumping them out, but I'm always upgrading them at the same time. I feel like it's a pretty effective way to do it. I might be wrong. I might be better off just doing them both. But it's what works for me, and it always keeps one open for me. Why did he activate bronze? I don't even see an attack coming yet. Oh, there you go. So I have to be very careful not to run right into their lightning towers, because my units are getting aggroed over there. And you can see it just on the top of the screen. There you go. The little Zeus, or the Poseidon. And we want to make sure that we're not directly involved in that. I'm going to let my range units deal with the catapults, right? They look like they keep missing. It's okay. The little Nemean lion can go. And you see he just gets absolutely zapped. Thank goodness I didn't get any splashback on that. But you see how hard it is sometimes range against range, because the range units miss. They miss very frequently. So every once in a while you'll just have two people fighting it out and they're not really doing much against each other. Especially when they're at max range, they do miss. But I mean, that makes it much more realistic, right? That's something that I very much enjoy. Like, it's just the fine details about it. Like, look, my catapult missed a statue. Sometimes it hit things around it. I mean, granted, it gets a little bit frustrating sometimes. Like, come on, hit it. Figure it out. I'm launching several catapult shells at you. That's why trebuchets are the superior siege weapon. At me if I'm wrong. Tell me in the comments why catapults are worse than trebuchets. Oh my god, I forgot that they earthquaked me. Totally destroyed my command center. Thankfully, my lightning statue and the majority of my infrastructure is not damaged. But now my farmers have nothing really to drop off to. So I gotta reassign everybody to build because they don't have a place to drop off to. So they're not actually doing me any good right now. And we'll use our pig power. Protect our catapults just because they take so long to build. The only one unstopped is Achilles, right? I believe that's who it was. So that little guy that you see is a Greek-only specific unit with a crossbow. And he's supposed to be good on every other race. The Egyptians, the Athenians, the Norse. Like, that's the anti-other faction unit. And they're pretty strong. They're not fantastic, but they're pretty strong. I don't build them a lot. Especially because most of the time when you're playing against people of the same faction here. Like right now we're playing against the Greeks. And they're sending out a little raiding party again. And there's Heracles with Medusa's head. And one of his really cool powers is he'll use that Medusa head and just freeze one of your units. So we're able to kill the fortress, get our guys forward, and start destroying their crossbow siege weapons. But as you can see, there's a lot of enemy units in here, and we can't use our god power there because we have no vision and because we may be too close to the wonder to do it. So we're gonna regroup. Regroup, rebuild. I'm not in any rush to push my guys forward. And I'm gonna be able to starve them out here with my troops. And then I guess I change my mind and I go, alright, let's go for it. Let's go do some damage. The only problem is we're getting absolutely demolished by those priests. The priests are just out of range behind that gate. Honestly, I should have had my catapult here attack the gate. That way my guys can get in because they're absolutely stuck. And my catapult's not killing the watchtower fast enough to get my guys in. As you can see, a lot of my guys are just standing around rather than fighting. And those priests must have insane range. Every single one of them is destroying my myth units. So I go, alright, I need to get out of here. This is not working. I'm not giving enough damage to justify the losses that I'm taking. Let's back up. And we're going to power up conscription. I love conscription. I love the fact that you can get them so much faster. Granted, it's a very pricey upgrade. Right? It's a very expensive upgrade. But I think it's well worth it. Granted, obviously it's not as effective as... It's a quality of life one. As opposed to like champion, heavy, you know, bronze weapons, steel weapons. Those are much more cost-effective upgrades, whereas conscription is a quality of life upgrade, right? That's why we're going to get the armory, so we can get some actual upgrades and keep our guys, you know, running up. The way that you win games is through upgrades. Granted, you can have... You reach a cap eventually at your troops. You reach a cap, right? The way that you win a battle against another person if you're evenly stacked is upgrades. That and, you know, good micro and macro, but when you're playing against a computer, the micro is not that important. Particularly because the computer kind of does, you know, what you expect it to do. It doesn't do anything tricky, really. When you play against a person, you assume that their micro is going to be at least semi-decent. In a game like this, it's hard though, because even if you like attack move or even if you like target, sometimes your guys just get lost or they get stuck and they don't know what they're doing. So we send the Nemean line in first, or the golden line, to start brunting the hits, right? while the rest of our guys start coming up. And we power up that upgrade, that way our range units give more damage against buildings.
A hero has fallen.
And they got another lightning statue, so let's drop this here and let's destroy everything they have, right? They got a very large army in here. I don't think we're winning this. At this point, I should just get my catapults out, because I don't think there's any way we're winning this battle here. Our guys just got demolished. So in my opinion, catapults are like the hardest things to rebuild. That's why I'm always so focused on getting them out. Right? I'm less worried about keeping my units alive, because I can easily rebuild my army. I'm much more worried about keeping my catapults alive. Oh, there goes Gargarensis. Oh, sorry, that's Heracles over there. I think Perseus is the one with the Medusa head.
A hero has fallen.
But we're running out of resources heavy here. So I'm going to reassign some of my guys, or at least I should be reassigning some of my guys to get me more faith so I could get more Cyclops eyes. Because I have so much food right now. But my favor's so little because I don't have that much generation on it. Apparently Pegasus can revive heroes. And as you can see, there's a little bit of a time limit on moving forward because they're starting to rebuild their troops, and we don't want that at all. So I'm going to focus on getting my guys up, buffed, and out. And on this one, I see that they have so many cavalry units, so I figured building some anti-cavalry units would probably be effective to help. But look at those flame arrows. And we dropped the pestilence just to make sure that they're not going to rebuild their armies and get us. But with our tanky front line, with our heroes respond, and with our overwhelming blotting out the sky with arrows, there's nothing that they could do about it. You see how fast that our guys, and those look like a champion unit, right? You see how fast our guys can kill them. So we'll send in a couple cavalries, mostly because we want to use our food because we have so much. Send in a couple cavalry units, but we're just going to keep tossing with our Cyclopses, and we need to get our catapults in there to destroy that wonder, because there's no way our ground units are killing that wonder.
A hero has fallen.
Goodbye, Pegasus. And man, our archers are just doing work right now. They're demolishing any troop that even dares to spawn. Their arrows are literally blotting out the sky. No, but this was a great mission. You know, always going in these dream missions are a little bit different. Controlling a different faction, controlling a different type of unit. Like, they give you a ton of resources. They're always fun. This one in particular is good because you have so many different options. You could have attacked by the sea. You can frontal assault. You can get a bunch of relics. So I chose for the frontal assault because that's my favorite style of play. But thank you guys for watching here. We're about to wrap it up after we kill this wonder. Watch a quick cutscene. Realize that this was a dream. And then we embark on the real mission of uniting all the Osiris pieces together. And that's going to be a 3-part series here of getting all the Osiris pieces together. Making sure that we do not let Gargarensis open up the gates to Erebus.
Zeus cannot interfere directly, or it will touch off a war amongst all the gods. That is why you are here. Make no mistake, if Kronos escapes, this will be Atlantis, and all you love will be lost.
Arkantos, are you all right?
Yes, just a bad dream.
Come, join us. It is time to plan our attack.
Let me make sure I understand. Osiris's pyramid guards another passage to the underworld?
Yes, if we can reunite the body of Osiris, he will live again.
We have one piece. There are 3 more which must be found and brought here.
We have to split up. Amonra, you, Chiron, and I will divide our forces and recover the other pieces. Ajax, you come with me.
So there we go. Now we're embarking on our new mission to make sure Gargarensis doesn't get in. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to stick around next week. Don't forget to check out Fable Friday, and I will see you boys on the next one. Adios, and thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe.